Alrighty. Welcome everybody to our first attempt at a webinar. So hopefully everything goes to plan with technology and everything else. So if there's any issues, just please jump in and let us know. But otherwise, welcome everybody to our webinar regarding building a better business in 10 steps. We've run this as a seminar a couple of times already, so hopefully this will help us get the information out to a larger audience. So welcome everybody. If you're watching it as a recording, please feel free to contact us afterwards with any questions and other information you might require. So just a welcome to a couple of team members here as well. So my business partner, Ewan Fletcher, who's joining us, as well as Taryn Barnard, who's one of our managers at Sharp Accounting. So welcome, guys, and thanks for jumping on as well. So today we're going to keep it fairly informal and fairly brief, but we're going to be talking about the ways and the things that you can do to build a better business that works for you rather than you working for it. And the key to this is focusing on the 3 freedoms that we believe in. So, and to me, a better business is something that delivers on the 3 freedoms of time freedom, mind freedom, and financial freedom. And we'll delve into what each of those mean and the 10 steps that we believe you need to take in order to achieve these 3 freedoms. Unfortunately, though, as accountants, we see a lot of clients that fail to achieve these 3 freedoms. They work crazy hours. They're not spending as much time as they like with their children. They're getting burnt out, and they're not seeing the financial rewards from all that hard work either. So building a better business to us is aimed at creating those 3 freedoms so that the business is working for you and you're avoiding those signs of fatigue and those signs of the business taking over your life. And that's why we're here today. So have a think about your business. So who in the past has ever taught you how to run your business? Have you started the business from scratch and you were a good technician in your field, and all of a sudden you've now decided to go out on your own and start a business? Now, the skills in these areas are completely different to what it would be running a business. So in the past, who's helped you to gain better skills in those areas? Has it been, a mate down at the pub? Has it been your solicitor or your bank manager? Or who generally has it been that has helped you? Because we certainly didn't learn a lot of business management skills when we're at school or at university or wherever you might have done. Who do you think is the most, a lot of people don't think of the accountant as being the person to help them build and run their business, when in actual fact, that's what we do all day, every day with a lot of our business clients. So, your accountant's there to lean on, your accountant's there to help you achieve these freedoms and help you build the business into something that's going to be there for you and work for you, not work against you. So today what we're going to do is our goals for today are to focus on what you need to do and strategies that you can implement in order to work on the business, not in the business. So trying to extract you from the business for a period of time so you can have a good think about your business, about what you need to do to work on it rather than work in it. And the key here is to set aside the time to do so. Quite often we make the excuse, I haven't got time, but everyone's got the same 24 hours in the day, and the time just needs to be set aside for you to work on the business. I often explain to clients, are you able to find 1 hour in the month? And 1 hour in the month is only 1 hour out of 160 hours that you might be at work. And for some of you, you might be at work a hell of a lot more than 160. You might be working 50 or 60 hours a week. So to find 1 hour in all that time shouldn't be that difficult to work on the business. And what you'll find is the benefit from that time spent on the business will reward you, tenfold. So what we're going to cover today, the thought for the session is to live as if you were to die tomorrow, learn as if you were to live forever. And that's a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. So that's our thought for the day. So our agenda, here's what we're going to cover. First off, we're going to cover the 10 steps. Secondly, the what and the why. Third is the implementation best practice. So what steps do you need to take to implement once you're back in your business? The next steps and options for support, and then we're going to open up for any questions that you might have at the end. And after that, when you leave, obviously, that's the time when you have to think about accountability and what you're going to do to hold yourself accountable to improving your business. We're going to try and keep it to less than an hour so that we're not going on for too long. And yeah, I think we should be able to get through it fairly quickly and concisely without having to go over an hour. So step one is to get clear on exactly what it is you want from your business. So who do you want to be right now? A better father, a better mother, a better leader, a better partner, or just a better person within the business? There's a principle called the be, do, have principle. So write down who you need to be so you can do the things you need to do in order to get what you want to have. Quite often within our business, that's all backwards. So, and I'll just repeat that. It's write down who you need to be so you can do the things you need to do in order to get what you want to have. Part of this is what do you love doing at work and at home? So if you focus on the things that you love to do, generally they're the things that you're going to do with a lot more vigor, and it'll come a lot easier to you. If we focus on the good stuff and what we really like doing, and then focus on what we don't need to be doing, so what do we need to stop doing? Well, then you'll be able to target the high value things that you could and should be doing within your business, so that you can focus on what you need to focus on rather than getting into every bit of nitty gritty within the business. How many hours a week are you willing to commit to each of the things that you love doing, right? So work and home. So if one of the things that you love doing is to play golf more regularly, how many hours a week are you going to dedicate to that? And what are you going to stop doing in order to be able to free up the time to do that? It might be, what holidays do you want to have? So you might decide that you want to be able to take 6 weeks holidays a year. How are you going to structure the business, and what are you going to do, and who do you need to surround yourself with in order to be able to achieve that? But by getting clear on exactly what it is you want, you can then start to focus on what the business needs to look like. Quite often we see business owners, when they first start the business, had an idea that they would do X, Y, and Z, but then after starting the business, they lose sight of that after a year or two, and all of a sudden you're bogged down in the business, and the business has taken control of your life, as opposed to the business being able to provide what it is that you want to have out of the business and out of your life. So by refocusing on this, it really will help you gain clarity on why it is that you're working the hours you're working and doing what you're doing, so that you have that reward at the end. And that reward, generally speaking, is a fairly personal matter. It's not what motivates me, won't be what motivates you, won't be what motivates you. And, we're all motivated by our own desires as to what we want to get out of work and what we would like to do with our lives outside of work. And if you have a clear vision on what that looks like, then you'll know why you're doing what you're doing, and you'll be able to design the business to provide that for you, as opposed to being forced to do things that you don't particularly like doing. Another key focus should be on how much income you need to deliver on your new life and what that looks like. So there's the what do you want to get out of the business, as well as the financial aspect of what you'd like to get out of the business. And don't worry how you're going to get there yet. This is all more conceptual as to, do you need the business to be able to provide you $100,000 a year, $500,000 a year? What is it that you would like the business to be able to provide? And then the next step, you need to make your own plan. And remember, this is your business, your design, your choice. So if it sounds bold or if it sounds unachievable, don't worry about that. Just still get it on paper, and then we can work on what the plan is to get to those goals. But be clear on what it is, and the more exact and the more clear your goal is, the easier it is to achieve and the sharper the focus will be on it. Step 2 is to be open to change and to new learnings. Resist the urge to hang out on your phone. So, technology is great, but what's tended to happen over the last number of years is, the social media, the rise in social media, these annoying little videos, they tend to be real time wasters, and all of a sudden you could lose an hour or two looking at, funny videos or funny cat videos or whatever they might be, and all of a sudden you've just blown a couple of hours. Unless you're reading something that will teach you something new, try and avoid hanging out on your phone. Enroll in courses and workshops, either online or in person, that are going to help you learn and adapt new skills. So there's so many different business books and business courses and things that you can do online, or soft skill courses that you can do, which might be around people management, or it might be around how to develop the skills necessary to become a better leader. So there's courses and workshops plenty that you can enroll in. Step 3 is to read more. So quite often we get bogged down in the nitty-gritty of the business, and we don't find the time to read. Again, there's business books galore, both recreational and business books. So if you're interested in learning golf, or if you're interested in bike riding, or whatever your outside interest might be, read more about them so that you become more proficient and really bury yourself in those. Keep a journal of your learning so you can revisit them. It's been shown that the mere writing down of a goal or of something that you have done will reinforce that knowledge something like 10 to 1 if you don't write it down. So the mere writing down in a journal of your learnings can really help you solidify those in your business and in your life moving forward. Turn off your TV. Similar to number 1 about hanging out on your phone, we can sit down in front of the TV and waste 2 or 3 hours. It could be done or could be spent on learning new things. And if you're open to learning, and if you're open to change, then this will just become a habit that the TV won't even come on of a night, and you'll take the time to read or to listen to podcasts so that you can build up your business knowledge and build up your knowledge around the areas that you're interested in. So the key here is to identify what it is you need to learn more about. So is it leadership? Is it sales skills? Is it business management? Is it how to write better? There could be any number of things that you need to or would like to learn more about. Then write down what you think is going to be the best way to gain this knowledge. So write this down in your workbook or in your journal. Set yourself some targets. It might be as simple as saying, I'm going to read something for 30 minutes a day. Go home and share your target with someone so that they can keep you on track. So if they find you, it might be your spouse or your partner or friend or whatever. And if you're sitting there watching television, they can help pull you into line. They can prompt you and go, "Aren't you meant to be reading a book or something?" So someone else to keep you online is always a handy thing. And the key is to start doing something. So you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be, you don't have to be perfect at this. It's the key is to start doing something. Just get started. Step three is to find where you are now. And we believe in warts and all. So, be honest, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise. Um, how aligned are you as owners or leaders? So, you as a leader, if you're a sole trader, is your business aligned with your vision, or is it just meandering? If you have a business partner, are you and your business partner or business owners aligned to the same vision? And if you don't have a shared vision, then step one is to get that shared vision and make sure that you are all, you're all pushing towards the same goals. Um, and the degree to which leaders and owners are aligned will help you, basically achieve those goals if you're all aligned to those goals. Step two, what activity is generating your current results? So, we all might look at our profit and loss and say we've got X amount of sales, but what activity is generating the most sales for you? So if you're running an accounting business, we might do tax returns, we might do financial statements, we might do financial plans, we might do all sorts of different activities. So which activity is generating the most current results? So which is the more profitable? Which products have the best margin? So focus on in your business, what activity is generating the best results for your business. You'll find if you go through this exercise that you will have a lot of leads that are generating, not much in the way of revenue, and you might have 2 or 3 leads that are generating 80% of your revenue. But without sitting down and analysing the activities that are generating the best results, then you won't know which areas to focus on. What's your average sales value per customer might be a good focus area as well. So if you're in a high turnover, high number of client type business, like a food business or something along those lines, then what's your average spend per customer and how can you increase the average spend per customer by focusing them on higher value products or higher margin products? You might be able to get better results by training your staff in sales skills to direct them towards higher value products. How many networking events are you attending and or running per month? So are you attending networking events that are run by your local commerce or other areas in order to generate your current results? How engaged are your team to deliver the vision? So if you have a team of employees, how engaged is that team to deliver this vision? Without the team on board, you'll never achieve true leverage. And by leverage, we mean if you have everyone on board with where you're heading with the business, then they'll help you push the business along and achieve what you're trying to achieve. But if you've got a team that is disengaged, then you'll be trying to drag them along as opposed to them all pulling along together. So a study on employee engagement showed that only 30% of employees in companies were engaged, 52% were disengaged, and 18% were actively disengaged. And what that means is actively disengaged is they were working on sabotaging the business or trying to make the business fail. So they weren't just disengaged, they were sabotaging and trying to disrupt the business and trying to make life difficult for everyone else. So studies also prove that businesses with engaged team members significantly outperform those without engaged employees. So it's key to understand how engaged your employees are and work on how you can get them more engaged And equally importantly, if you've got completely disengaged employees, what you need to do to move those people on and help them free up their career opportunities is the way we look at it. How appropriate are your measurement reporting systems? So, do you actually have measurement and reporting systems in place that you monitor regularly? And what are you measuring? So, if you're not measuring the right things, then you're not going to get the right results. And what we find is that a lot of clients just are completely flying blind. They don't have a regular reporting system. They don't have regular measurements of KPIs or key performance indicators, and they don't sit down and set targets. So the key here is to make sure you set some targets for your business and that you're regularly monitoring and measuring them. And if you measure it, you can manage it. What are your 5 biggest vulnerabilities right now? So identify what your weaknesses are and where the business might be vulnerable so that you can protect the downside. One of the key um, one of the key things in business to get right, in my opinion, is risk management. So if you manage the downside and manage the key risks in your business, then generally you'll be able to you know know that in the worst case scenario that the business is still going to be fine. So if you don't know what those vulnerabilities are and you leave yourself exposed, then quite often that's where we see businesses fail. So if you manage your worst case scenarios and make sure you've got that covered off, and understand what your vulnerabilities are, then you'll be able to make sure that your business is going to succeed. So make sure you look at your 5 biggest vulnerabilities and jot them down. And these might be things like, do you have poor systems in place? Is it all reliant on, a couple of key stakeholders? So is there too much key person risk? Do you have high team member turnover or staff turnover? Do you have cash flow strains? So is cash flow always a constant problem? Do you have a weak balance sheet? Or do you have, a spending problem personally? Do you have an issue with not being able to control your own spending? So the business is struggling to keep up profitability wise with what you're actually spending. So understand what your biggest vulnerabilities are and try and rectify them. So, just as a map is a way of finding your starting point and finding where you're trying to head, we believe that defining where you are now is the same sort of thing as your starting point on a map. Step 4 is to make a plan. So that might sound fairly simple, but a lot of times people might think, "Oh God, business plan, right?" And it needs to be, 400 pages and produced by a PhD and graphic designed, and we believe the opposite. We believe the best business plans keep it on one page. So the old KISS principle: keep it simple. Don't make it too wordy. Try and keep it onto one page. Only have a few dot points and make it for, if you need to, you can go on to double side on one page, but it shouldn't exceed more than that one page. Identify no more than 4 main goals. So the problem with having more than 4 main goals is that if you've got 44 main goals, then you'll achieve none of them. If you've got 4 and it's set within a restricted time frame, you're much more likely to achieve those goals. Now, longer term, you might have a whole lot more goals that you need to achieve in order to hit your longer term plans, but a one-page plan should be a shorter time frame. And we believe these should be cascading 90-day goals and action plans. So by that, we mean it should be revisited every 90 days. So it's a one-page plan. You've got no more than 4 main goals, and you've got 90 days of actions and goals. At the end of those 90 days, you sit down and identify what those goals have been and whether you've achieved them and whether those actions have been completed, and reset that next 90 days moving forward. So then create 4 more goals. Or if you haven't ticked off all of those 4 goals, it might be you've ticked off 3 and you've still got 1 to go. So then you add another 3. So you've got 4 goals for the next 90 days. No more than 5 KPIs. So again, key performance indicators, if you've got too many, they lose their impact. And generally speaking, any business will have key areas to focus on that are really going to drive the performance of the business. If you have any more than 5, businesses start to lose focus and it becomes a bit too wishy-washy. So no more than 5 KPIs. Share the plan with your team members or with your staff. So if it's shared with team members, we find that it has a much bigger impact. And if they are aligned with the business owners, they will help you achieve that goal and achieve that plan. And you might even build in, some rewards for team members that help you get there. Keep the plan highly visible to all your team. So if you're including the team, then the plan should be highly visible as well. It shouldn't just be something that's done and stuck in the bottom drawer and then in 90 days you sit down with us and we review it. It should be visible to the team. It should be something that everyone knows about and everyone's working towards. And you should be tracking your progress against the plan and celebrate if and when you do achieve the goals in that plan. And one of the key steps is to review it at least quarterly and have someone independent hold you accountable. And that's where we come in. So we can help you with the accountability. We can set the meeting for 90 days time to review. We can then help you set the new 90-day plan. And then the next quarterly plan will roll on from the first one. And remember, a dream written down becomes a goal broken down into steps becomes a plan, and a plan backed by action makes it reality. And that's Greg S. Reed wrote that, so I can't take credit for that one. And remember, your business plan is a how-to guide of how to achieve what you want in life. So taking it back to what we did in steps 1, 2, and 3, the plan is to how to get your business to help you achieve your goals in life and in business. Step 5 is to get your organisational structure right. So as business owners, you'll see the fellow over here, he's got about 7 different hats on. 6, is it? 6. What we find is that as business owners, we wear so many different hats. And quite often the problem is that we're wearing so many different hats that we can't focus on what's really generating and driving the business. And therefore, we lose sight of where the business is going, and therefore we don't have the right structures in place and we're trying to do everything ourselves. So by focusing on the key hats that you should be wearing and getting your organizational structure right, then it helps you then focus on the key areas you should be focused on to drive the business as opposed to trying to do everything. So you'll see here above the line strategic, below the line operational. So operational includes things like your service or product development, operations and delivery, sales, marketing, finance, administration and IT, human resources. So there's like 7 different departments. And also at the operational level, you've got leadership. So being the CEO or the general manager, that helps make each of those things happen effectively. So you've got 7 different departments that a lot of us are doing ourselves, or our business partners and us are doing ourselves. We've got 7 different functions, 7 different roles, 7 different lots of KPIs. And what we need to do is focus on which areas within that don't need to be done by us and can be done by others, and which areas we need to focus on. Now, the above the line stuff we find is where a lot of our business clients don't spend anywhere near enough time, which is financing the business as shareholders and as directors setting the direction. So the above the line strategic stuff is working on the business. The below the line operational stuff is working in the business. And I think you'll probably agree that as business owners, we don't spend anywhere near enough time on the above the line things. And that's what we're trying to get you to do by setting these plans and having some accountability. Um, each role should have a clear description in it with no more than, oh, Jesus, with no more than 10 key responsibilities. Um, each of these areas should have key responsibilities and tasks that are required in order to make them happen. And then you should be allocating each of those tasks to the right people with the right skills to perform those and help the business grow. So, not everyone's going to be great at sales, not everyone's going to be great at marketing. Human resources tends to be an area where a lot of business owners struggle. So, if you have other people within the business that are much better with those skills, you need to find them, allocate the tasks to them, give them responsibilities and KPIs, and help hold them accountable. And delegating a lot of these tasks to your team is hugely important. Trying not to take on all of those key areas yourself means that you'll focus on the right areas and get people in the right spots on the right jobs with the right skill sets to be able to do those jobs. Number 6, be a better leader. Build a strong workplace culture. So Peter Drucker is a famous author and TED speaker, and his main focus is on culture, and culture eats strategy for breakfast. So what he means by that is that your workplace culture, if you have a strong culture, it's going to eat any strategy for breakfast. So if you have a good workplace culture, things will happen. If you have a toxic workplace culture, all the strategy in the world ain't going to help you if the people in that culture are toxic. So signs of a toxic workplace. Firstly is a lack of trust between owners and the team, a sense of us versus them. You've probably all, or you may or may not have all had experience working in a business where there was an us and them mentality, and it's never a pleasant thing. I've worked in toxic workplaces before, and it was a horrible experience. And it all comes down to a lack of trust between the team and the owners. Number 2 is no core values or people not living into them. So it could be that they don't know or understand what the core values of the business are, or it could just be that they're just not buying into it. And if they're just not buying into it, well, then, the core values, you haven't got a hope of trying to drive the culture of the business if people are actively not living them. After meetings, one of my clients used to call these mini meetings. His team were having mini meetings after they'd have a staff meeting. And that was basically an undermining thing where those coffee breaks or, desk chats that were happening were creating this toxicity and creating this us and them mentality. And they were basically taking the time to bag out people or to bag the leaders or to make life difficult for other people within the business. Highly stressful interactions are the norm. So, tiptoeing around people on eggshells or, like anytime you go near a certain person was stressful, and the toxicity of some people would make it highly stressful just to, interact with them, which is just horrible. Team members and owners are mistreating each other. So working in self-serving ways instead of for the benefit of the team, especially if this is done behind people's backs in these after meetings. So, creating making life difficult for people when they have no reason to be targeted, or that, it's just, again, highly toxic. No team buy into the core purposes or goals. So, or worse still, a complete absence of purpose or goals. So if you're a business who hasn't, pardon me, who hasn't got those core purposes, core values, core goals, then if the team isn't buying into them, then, or even worse, you haven't even got them, then it's really a sign of a toxic workplace. So, building a strong workplace culture, a strong workplace has core values. So, um, within the business, you can use a collaborative approach to set no more than 5 core values. Um, some businesses have more. I know we've got like 7 or 8, but you need to have core values. We recommend that that should be around 5's a good number. If it's a few more, that's okay. You should have a purpose. If you haven't already watched it, check out Simon Sinek's video about starting with why and about having a business on purpose. By having a business on purpose, you have something that is has a vision, has something you're working towards, and that people can buy into. And it's a really powerful way of getting people to be on the bus, so to speak. Make your core purpose and core values highly visible and easily rememberable so they can be memorized. If they're not visible, people will forget them. If they're not memorized or able to be memorized fairly easily, then they'll lose their power as well. So make them something that is, short and sharp, able to be memorized and highly visible. Align your team goals with your business goals. So break down your business plan into goals and actions that each team member can take on board. So it shouldn't just be all about the business owners. It should be about how are you going to help us achieve these goals as well. And by aligning team goals with your business goals, you'll help build a much stronger team and a much better culture. Celebrate successes. So when you do have some success and achieve some goals or bring on a new customer or win a major contract, make sure the team knows it and that everyone celebrates that success. And also that you give due recognition to the people who made it happen. So not, we just won this contract and aren't I a great leader? It should be about, Taryn brought in this new client and that client is now going to do X, Y, and Z work with us. And Taryn's done a fantastic job and good on you, Taryn. So celebrate the successes of the team and of the individuals. Meet with your team regularly. What we find is this in a lot of businesses doesn't tend to happen. So, there might be a weekly team meeting, or there might be a monthly team meeting, but they don't have a regular touch point. So in our business, we have a daily huddle. So there's a no more than 10-minute, very quick team meeting at 10 o'clock each morning where we run through what we've got on our plates and who we need help from and identify, what work needs to be done and what work we might need some help with so that we can keep things moving and we work collaboratively to get things done. Make sure you discourage after meetings and actively discourage it. So if you see them happening, pull them up. One useful little tool that we've used in the past is having a core value of no triangles. So if I have an issue with someone, I'm not talking about them behind their back. I'll go to them and have a discussion and say, hey, in that meeting, you said X, Y, and Z. And I just want to clarify what you're talking about there because it felt like it was a personal attack. And by bringing that out into the open, you can help, reduce any future problems and help bring them to a head so that they can be resolved, dealt with, and they don't fester and become toxic. Don't play favourites. So, I've worked in places where they had a golden child or where they had, someone who was clearly being groomed to a higher management position, and that can help evaporate that team mentality and that, that strong culture. If all you're doing is rewarding certain behaviours, then you'll get a lot of that same behaviour and you'll actually help create toxicity within the business if you play favourites to certain people. Avoid being held to ransom by a toxic employee. Deal with toxic employees. As I mentioned earlier, help them if you can't help them come around to the business goals and core values. Help them further their career elsewhere. Um, and I think you'll know what I mean by that. You can open the door to other opportunities for them, which obviously wouldn't be within our business if they are not living our core values and our purpose. And have more fun at work. We're at work for quite a long time, so have a bit of fun, hang a bit of shit on each other, take the time out of your day to have a joke. You know, Within reason, we have a lot of fun at work. We enjoy each other's company. We have a good joke, and I'm always one for not taking myself too seriously. And if you lighten the mood a bit and make sure that people understand we're still very serious about what we do, but we like to have fun while we're doing it, then you'll get really good buy-in and it helps build a strong workplace culture. Ooh. Step 7, get someone independent to hold you to account. So a coach is someone who tells you what you don't want to hear and has you see what you don't want to see so you can be who you've always known you can be. And that's NFL coach Tom Landry. So that's all about accountability. Now, a coach is not going to be someone who's going to jump in and do everything for you. A coach is someone who can see from a bit of a distance what it is you're doing, or it can be a sounding board for you to say, this is happening within the business, this might be happening. A coach is someone who can listen to what you're saying and then suggest some alternative approaches. And in our business, we've found external coaches to be invaluable. We provide this service to a lot of our clients, and we believe it helps them, know that they've got someone as a sounding board, and know that they've got someone who's got their back, who doesn't have, a dog in the fight, so to speak. You can come to us. We'll tell you what we think. You can take it or leave it, and you can go and implement. And we'll help you stay accountable, and we'll give you that independent view. Great coaches demonstrate more than just backbone, though. They demonstrate, that they've got heart, that there is care, that they want you to achieve your goals, and they want to help you achieve your goals. Step 8 is to build strong networks. Number 1, consider the lifetime value of a client. So quite often, businesses might focus on, going out and getting new client, when they might be better focused on their existing clients and building a strong relationship with your existing clients, so that either A, they do more work with you in your business, or B, they refer other people to you within your business. So if you have a customer who spends on average $100 per visit and visits 5 times per year, let's say you're a restaurant or something like that, they visit 5 times a year. If your gross profit margin is 66%, then that over the course of 5 years, that client is then worth about $2,000 to you. So each client that you get to come back 5 times per year, if they do that for 5 years, they're worth about $2,000 to you in profit, not just in turnover. By focusing on how much each of those clients are worth to you, it'll help you understand that it's not just about that single transaction, it's about the lifetime value of that customer. So if they keep coming back, they're highly valuable. And if you get multiples of those that continue coming back, then you have something within your business that is, again, highly valuable. Identify businesses you work with that are going to complement your services. So I'll use our business as an example. We have financial planners and real estate brokers or mortgage brokers that work with us, and they complement our business by us being able to refer to them in order to provide those services for our clients. another example might be, lawyers working with bankers or lawyers working with accountants, tradespeople working with each other. So a builder will have a plumber and a painter and various tradies who work for them. And identifying those complementary businesses and creating good, strong relationships is crucial. Give more for referrals than you seek in return. So if you look after a referral business and you help generate business for them, they'll help generate business for you in return. But don't always go looking for, like I gave you one, you need to give me one. If you just work in the best interests of your clients, what you'll find is that you will then start gaining referrals back. But by offering that ability to a client to be able to say, look, I can't do that for you, but I know someone who'll do it, and this is the guy, and he's a great business, and he'll do this, and blah blah blah. Then clients will appreciate that you're not trying to make a buck out of every single interaction that you have with them, that you've got their best interests at heart. Find out where your target market hangs out. So there may be existing networks that you can join. You might join Rotary, or there's other networking examples, a Chamber of Commerce, or, in Ballarat, there's Commerce Ballarat that run a lot of marketing events. So if your target market is other business owners, then going along to some of those networking places like Rotary or Commerce Ballarat will help you meet the right people who are the business owners and decision makers who will help you grow your business. Get involved with not-for-profit organisations or sporting clubs that your team are involved with or that you're involved with personally. So this is a huge one for me and for our business, in that over the years I've been involved in, the Golden Point Cricket Club and Rotary, currently involved with a couple of charities, so Blake's Army that we're on the board of, and others, and starting to get involved with the Ballarat Golf Club. And there's organisations that you get involved in, and again, if you go there and get involved for the right reasons and they're not looking to just generate a dollar out of it, what you'll find is that by increasing your network through those not-for-profit organisations, it'll help you grow your business and grow the awareness of your business, and business will follow from you being involved in those organisations. And if you've got team members who are involved in a sporting club, it might be a football club, or it might be, it could be table tennis, it could be anything. If you've got team members that are involved, get involved and help those sporting clubs be more successful. But don't go there trying to sell, just go there to help, to become a part of those sporting clubs and not-for-profits. Step 9 is to monitor your progress to your targets. So throughout these steps, we've identified that you need to create a plan, and then the key part is to then monitor how you're going towards your plan. Now, what we've got on here is an example of, some of the forecasting software out there that can help you stay on track. So, your current period sales against forecast, you've reached 55% of that target, and you're down 26% on the last period or last year. What the net income looks like, whether you're on track or under target, the net cash flow, what you forecast and where are you currently at, and whether you're on track, your monthly debtors and creditors, what's your bank balance looking like. So, what these might look like for each individual business is going to be different, but if you set your KPIs and have something to monitor your progress against, it'll help you see whether you're achieving your goals, and also give you something to work towards. And step 10, keep your well of happiness full. So life is short, smile while you still have teeth. So, focus on having fun and enjoying your time at work, because, life is way too short. The the business and our time spent at business shouldn't be a chore. It shouldn't be, you're dragging yourself off to the business and you're not really happy because X, Y, and Z's going on. If you are a, a good leader who's leading the business and you turn up and you're happy and you're having fun and you're staying on top of things, then most likely your team will be doing the same thing. Now, this the things that also help keep your well of happiness full might be things that restore your energy. So for me, it's playing golf. I like to play golf and relax and get out in nature and be able to experience some fresh air and hit a few golf balls and say a few curse words when it doesn't go right. And it helps me keep my well of happiness, if you want to call it that, full. It just helps give you that balance, helps restore your energy, and helps you make sure that you're charging forward in your business. And when you come back, that you've got a reason for why you're doing what you do. So to recap, summarizing the 10 steps, and we're pretty well on track. So we're still under an hour, so we've done pretty well. Number one, get clear on exactly what you want. Number two, be open to change and to new learnings. Step three, define where you are now, warts and all. Step four, make a plan. Make sure it's a short, concise, one page, no more than 2 pages, 1 page back and front. Step five, get your organization structure right. Delegate what you need to delegate. Don't try and take everything on. Step six, be a better leader. Build a strong workplace culture. Step seven, get someone independent like ourselves to hold you to account. Step eight, build strong networks. Step nine, monitor your progress and make sure that you're on track, or monitor where you're heading so you can identify where you've gone off track. And number 10, keep your well of happiness full. So next steps. We do business planning with business clients, and this generally, depending on the size of the business, would start from somewhere around $2,000. Cash flow forecasting, again, for detailed cash flow forecasting, would be somewhere around $2,000. Coaching, again, generally speaking, depending on the size of the business, would be from $1,000 a month. Management reporting, quarterly or monthly, around $1,500, and a complimentary client review meeting. We offer that service for free, and a proactive accounting meeting, we offer that for free as well. So, and this little diagram down here, where the magic happens and your comfort zone. So if you stay in your comfort zone, you'll keep getting the results that you've always been getting by taking the time to work on your business. That's where we believe the magic happens. So actions and projects. So what should you do from here? Number one is to get started. So whatever it is, start. Write down 3 actions or projects that will add value to your business. So often we see businesses attend things like this, or we go to seminars and come back and they're bombarded by email or nitty gritty within the business, and they don't actually do anything from it. So make a list, make sure you write down some actions and come back to them and implement. So a problem is an opportunity to create a project. Doing nothing should not be an option. So do something. Don't care what it is. Take 1 or 2 of those steps and do something. Any questions? I think given the time frame and the format, we'll probably skip through the questions. But if anyone would like any further clarification, again, thank you for attending, and thank you for taking the time to listen to my ramblings and to be a part of our community and for attending the webinar. So thank you all. That'll be all from me for the night, and hope you all have a good night. And any further information that you would like, please feel free to be in contact, and we'll be more than happy to talk to you about any of the matters that we've talked through today. Thanks again, and good night. How do I stop?